Hi, my name is Katie Knapp. I'm a coordinator at the Center for Educational Outreach, and today I'm here to bring you guys a webinar on our VIP instructor training. So I'm going to share a presentation with you to go over for today. All right. So this training is basically to get you prepared for the course that you're teaching here at Michigan Tech over the summer. And hopefully this is a great jumping off point and answers most, if not all, of your questions. So we're going to kind of go over just Michigan Tech a little bit because some of our VIP instructors may not be familiar with Michigan Tech. An overview of our summer youth programs, our instructor requirements and expectations, the logistics that go into your course, a minor's policy requirements, and our participants. So get started, our staff this year for our full-time professional staff, we have Cassie as our director, Jana as our assistant director, Brad Wells and myself as SYP logistics coordinators, and Marianne as our administrative aide. In kind of next in line, we have Leah and Kat as residence hall coordinators, and they help a lot with our staff during the summer and also with our students. And then in addition to that, we have around 60 student staff from front desk workers to activity counselors and residence counselors. So Michigan Tech was founded in 1885. We have 140 degree programs. We currently have a little more than 7,000 undergraduates enrolled and more than 1,200 grad students enrolled. This is a map of Michigan Tech. So the majority of the academics courses or classes are kind of in the central part of campus. And then up here on the hill is our SDC, where like a lot of our hockey rink is and those types of things. And then it's really nice that our campus is located right along the Keweenaw Waterway. There's some nice paths down there for walking if you guys have any spare time while you're in town. So SYP was established in 1972, and each summer we usually have around 1,000 participants from 6th grade to 11th grade. And each summer we usually have around 50 programs. This year we have 72 plus programs or explorations for students to partake in. And currently 10% of Michigan Tech students are summer youth program alumni. So at a glance, our summers start in June and end in August. The first 3 weeks of June is getting our staff ready for students to be here. So Memorial Day week, we have our head staff orientation, and the week after that is our head staff orientation. These are kind of our main staff that's going to be helping us organize and get the rest of our staff ready for the summer. And then the third week of June, we have our staff orientation, and we spend the entire week getting our experienced counselors and our residence counselors, our day counselors, all ready for what's going to be happening this summer. And then we have 2 weeks of programming right off the bat to finish up June. We usually take the 4th of July week off, and we are this year as well. And then we have 4 weeks to wrap it up. And then the last week we kind of just work on moving out of WAD's dining hall, or dining, not WAD's dining, WAD's residence hall. And then we go on to other programming throughout the year. All right, so for our instructors, we need you guys to organize and supervise educational activities for these students. We really want these to be hands-on and engaging, and it's also important to accommodate different levels because some of you may have a course from 6th grade to 8th grade, and then some of you may have courses with students from 9th to 11th grade. So we have to take into consideration those age differences. Another huge expectation is to make sure the students are safe and doing okay. Since this is one of our top priorities, we really take this seriously. We follow safety guidelines in the spaces where you work and the materials that you use. And if you have a question about what is expected for a specific activity, feel free to reach out to us and let us know if you have questions. Another huge thing that is important is sometimes we'll have you scheduled for a certain classroom, but maybe you want to change it up and go outside for a little while or something like that. That's fine. We just ask that you put a "We have moved" sign on the classroom door, so that way the students know where you are if they're running a little bit late, or if one of our staff members tries to go to your class and see how things are going. This way we know where you're moving to. And if you are going to move, we do ask that you send it to syplogic@mtu.edu, so that way we know where you're going to be as well. So just continuing with those instructor requirements and expectations, we really want you guys to have a positive attitude with these students. It's summer in the UP and it's absolutely gorgeous. And a huge thing to remember is that your attitude can have a major impact on the participants. So if you're feeling good and having a good time, then they probably will too. If you're maybe feeling not so good, then that can be reflected in their attitudes. We really want to encourage classroom participation and communication. So some of these students, this is their first time leaving home, at least overnight, without their parents. And so it's important to make sure that they're feeling comfortable. If you notice something, say something to the staff, because we can talk to the student, kind of pull them aside and see what's going on. Some students may have language barriers or different levels of learning. And we want to just make sure that these students aren't being left out. So really, if you see a problem, let us know. We can try and help you work through those. In some of our buildings, we don't have air conditioning. So monitoring health and other issues is very important. If you see a student who is getting a little bit warm or something like that, let them go get a drink, let them take a break. If there are ever any behavior issues, we have what's called an incident report, and we'll go over that later with you, and contact your residence hall coordinator. That would be Leah or Kat, and let them know what's going on, because they can pull them aside and talk to them. We also have mandated reporter training. So if a participant makes a concerning statement about their home life, we are required to say something. So you can say something to the SYP staff and let us know what's going on, and we can take it from there. We do have a full training on the mandated reporter that is where we require you to go through. So this is just kind of more into that mandated reporting. I will let you guys watch this video on your own. It is in the Google Drive that we share with you guys called Materials for SYP Instructors. But we need to keep an eye on things that could be child abuse or neglect. So if you hear something, say something, and also please watch the video and go through those materials. All right, so we need to be sensitive to our participant individual needs. Again, some of these students come from very different backgrounds. We have international students as well this year, and so there could be a lot of different barriers. They may not be used to things up here. So really just try to be sensitive to that and see where you can meet them and help them out with their learning, their type of learning. So we need to implement and enforce the SYP community standards. This can be found in the instructor handbook. And this is what we expect of our students or our participants and our staff. If you are feeling sick, if you have something that needs attention, let the SYP staff know, so that way we know. If you need to find a replacement for your time as an instructor, that is your responsibility, and also provide them with the course content so that way they can teach. Every week we have instructor meetings and training sessions. So on Monday morning, we will be meeting at 8 a.m. in the WADS residence hall. And then on Friday morning at 8:15 a.m., we will also meet again in the WADS residence hall. This is before your class time starts, and this is so that way we can go through any last minute questions and get you the materials that you need for your class. So things such as the list of students that you have and other details for Monday morning. And then Friday morning, we give out student surveys and certificates. This is important for you to have before class that day so you can distribute those for us. So please work closely with us in the SYP Logic office as you're planning your exploration. So SYP Logic at ntu.edu, we can help answer any of those questions for logistics. So if you want to take your students out for a field trip one day, then let us know and we can help you figure out those logistics. Or if you want to have a picnic lunch one day, we can also do that too. Just let us know what you need. So while you're planning your explorations, you also need to develop an itinerary that you share with us that's due actually 2 weeks before your course starts. So we need to know what you're doing. We also want the itinerary to be hands-on learning. Another thing that we expect from you is to wear appropriate attire. So we understand that it can be hot up here in the summer, but you need to be dressed appropriately. You know, don't have anything too with too much skin showing or anything like that, and try not to have ripped clothes, anything with profane language or images, all that kind of stuff that we would expect from instructors who are working with minors. So please submit your paperwork in a timely fashion. So that includes payroll, paperwork, itineraries, trainings, budget forms, injury and accident reports, etc. So for your payroll paperwork, we will be getting that information out to you so that you can fill it out, and so you're all set when you get here. Your itinerary is what you're planning on doing in your course. We have a template that you can follow, and we expect those to be detailed and neat and tidy. Your itineraries will say what you're doing at each time and where we are going to be planning on you doing that. We also will give you a budget form, and this will help you plan out your course. During your course, if there's an injury or an incident, we expect you to turn those in promptly. So if it happens in the middle of your class, as soon as you have a break, like for lunchtime or right after lunch, then we want those to be brought to WAD's residence hall front desk. If there's an injury or an incident that requires immediate attention, then you call the WAD's front desk right away, and we will get somebody out there to help you out. All right, so in the Google Drive that we will share with you, there is this instructor budget worksheet. Each course is allowed $400 for their budget from SYP, and you can go through this and it will walk you through your budget basically. So that would be for materials, busing, or not busing, but van rentals and things like that. And this varies by course. So if you have questions about the budget worksheet, then let SYP Logic know and we can go through that with you. All right. So again, all your course planning sheets are in the shared drive, and you will get a link to that shared drive in the from SYP Logic. In that shared drive, we have your instructor handbook, and this will give you all the details of everything that you need for your course. It will lay everything out for you. So please read through this, familiarize yourself with this, that way you know what to expect. All right, so in the Google Drive, there's a document that's called Read Me First, and that will go through what trainings we expect you to complete before your course. I mentioned one of them earlier as a mandated reporter training, and it kind of goes through a few other things too. Once you complete your training, there is a quiz that you have to take, and you need to get 100% on that to pass. All right, there's this other spreadsheet in the Google Drive. There's a lot of documents in this Google Drive for you called your course snapshot. And we keep this up to date with how many students are in your course. So this way, you know, you can hop on there and you can take a look and see how many students are currently in your course. This will help you with ordering supplies and knowing how many students to plan for. That may change your lesson plans or something like that. All right, so for itineraries, for general SYP courses, we go from 9 a.m. until 12, and then from 1:15 to 4:30. Some of our courses this summer will be shifting their lunch due to the dining hall capacity at lunch. So some courses may go from 9 to 11 and then break for an hour for lunch and then come back from 12 to 4:30. We are going to be sending out an email asking for courses to do this. So if you feel like that is something that your course could do, then let us know, and we would be happy to accommodate that. For our VIP courses, you guys don't have to worry about our WE and ESP engineering sessions or group projects because this doesn't pertain to you. You guys are just looking at the general SYP course. So again, I mentioned earlier, there's a good way to do itineraries and there's a not so good way. So we would really like it for them to be typed, so that way we have a clear picture of what it is. There's a time part right here, so we want it to be broke down into time chunks, that way we know kind of what you plan on doing. Now, obviously, as I said earlier, things can change and that's okay. The biggest thing is let us know if it's going to change classrooms for reservations and different things like that that we need to know. So right here would be your time, and then would be the activity, location, and then this last part is what things you might need. So this would be where you would put, I need a stack lunch, or picnic lunch for our students, or transportation. We also ask instructors to put in when they think a good photo op would be, so that way our photographer can come around and take pictures during that time. It's sometimes when we're looking at these, we don't know exactly what's going on with the activity, if it's hands-on or not, and so we'd like to know when students are doing something other than sitting and listening for pictures, just because that makes a little bit better pictures for everybody. So if you have good photo opportunities, then let us know when those are. And then here's an example of a not so great itinerary. So this top one, as you can see, it just says in-class activity, the time slots aren't filled out, and it's not exactly clear what's happening during that entire chunk of time. So please be more detailed than this. And then this bottom one, it has more detail, but again, we really appreciate it when you type these out instead of writing them out. And the form that is in the Google Drive, it is fillable or typable, so that way we do allow you to type into those documents. You don't have to write them out. So this is a huge, huge detail. Itineraries are due 2 weeks before your class starts. We in the SYP logistics office need to know what's happening 2 weeks before, so that way we can get rooms reserved. We can order those lunches for you if you want to take picnic lunches. We can get your transportation set up. These are all really important things, and we're dealing with a lot of classes and a lot of people, so we need to know this information before. So 2 weeks before, please. So when you're developing your itinerary, just a few things to consider. These are students. Some of them don't have any experience in what you're teaching. Some have lots of experience, and it's going to vary from student to student in your classroom. So take that into consideration and make sure that all levels are capable of doing the activity. If you plan on doing something outside, but it ends up raining, do you have a backup? Make sure you have that backup. If you are running way ahead of schedule, do you have extra activities that you could do later on in the day, so that way you're still filling that time? Another huge thing to consider is these are students in middle school and high school. They need to take breaks periodically so that way they can focus. I know if I was in middle school, I wouldn't want to go for 2 hours without a break. So schedule in those breaks. You can put breaks right in your itinerary. That way you know that they're happening. A huge thing for you guys is not to release your participants early. Why? Because they need someone, a crossing guard, to get back over to WADS. And they're technically not supposed to cross 41, which is the highway that kind of runs through campus, without a crossing guard. And then also, that student, we won't know exactly where that student is anymore, because maybe they come back to WADS, or maybe they hang out on campus somewhere else where they're not supposed to be. So it's important to keep them with you when you are responsible for them during those times. So at the end of the week, every class will be doing a survey, and students will be being asked several things about their exploration during the class. So they'll be asked, how do you feel your exploration helped you discover new careers? How well did your instructor do to encourage questions in class? Are you inspired to learn more about your exploration after SYP? And so on. So take a look at these questions and kind of consider these when you're developing your course, and think about a way that you can make it positive in all of these questions. And these surveys will be distributed on Friday at that instructor meeting at 8:15 a.m. And then you'll collect them and then bring them back to us. And then we'll get the results of those surveys out to you as well. All right, so other logistic things to consider: sack lunches. I kind of considered or already mentioned this a little bit, but if you plan on being out in the Keweenaw for the day, and you don't want to come back just for lunch, then we can get you some sack lunches and you can have a picnic out on the go. Depending on your course, if you guys are going into the water, even wading a little bit into the water, you technically need to have a lifeguard with you. And that is a logistical thing that you should be letting us know 2 weeks ahead of time on your itinerary. So in that extra column I explained, where you can put transportation needs or photo ops, you could also put that detail for lifeguards there, which is really important for us to be able to schedule. ID tags. So you guys will be given a instructor ID. It will give you tap access to where you need to be, and it will also have a lanyard on it. You need to be wearing this. We need to know that you're part of SYP when you're with our students. So please wear this everywhere you go when you're working SYP. All right, computer guest access and software. Logins will be supplied for your participants, and for those of you who are not Michigan Tech employees or students, we will share this master list of usernames and passwords with you in case your participant loses theirs. So if you guys plan on getting to the computers, you need to let us know that you need computer access with passwords ahead of time, so that way we can get you that information. So it's another detail to put on your itinerary, or let us know when you're planning your course. I know this is a lot of information, and this PowerPoint will be in the Google Drive for you, so you can go back and look at it, or you can re-watch this recording. All right, so for transportation, we have 12 and 15 passenger vans available for you. You rent out your van from us in the SYP logistics, so you don't have to go through motor pool like you normally would through the university. Instead, in the logistics office, which is in WADS Residence Hall, we will get that van ready for you, And you just have to come up and get your keys, sign out the van, and bring it back. These vans are located behind WAD's Residence Hall. And that's where you will be loading your students and unloading your students as well. We do have a specific way that we load and unload students. It's curbside, so you'll pull up to the curb, and that's just to prevent students from like running out into the parking lot. If you are planning on taking students out in a van, you have to get van certified through Michigan Tech. And it's a 20 to 30-minute online course. And then you have to register in the Fleet Commander account at Michigan Tech. So it's 2 relatively easy steps to get van certified. If you don't feel comfortable driving these vans, we can give you a quick little demo driving them and get you caught up to speed with those. So as I said, it's curbside pickup. I forgot this part, or the slide was in here. So you'll want to drop the students off at the curb and pick them up at the curb. Inside each van is a log sheet like this, and you'll have to write your starting mileage, your ending mileage, your driver initials, and then your gas remaining. Inside of the SYP Logistics office, we have these bins with keys and these clipboards. So that's where you're going to check out your keys to us. While you're driving this van, you are responsible for any tickets that you get. So if you park in the wrong spot, then you need to pay the ticket. If you're going to a state park, let us know. We do have some state park passes that we can distribute out, but you need to also return that to us so we can use it for other activities that we go do. First aid kits will be in the vehicle and they need to stay in the vehicle. So make sure that when you return the vehicle, the first aid kit is still in there. If you're taking a lunch, we will pack your van in the morning with those lunches, so that way they're all ready for you to go. If you have any questions ever, this is where you want to go, syplogic@mtu.edu. We will answer your questions. That is the best place to go for any logistical questions with your planning your course. All right, so say you're doing something and a student gets hurt, or it could be something like a student has a headache and wants some ibuprofen. If a student has a headache and wants some ibuprofen, we cannot just give them ibuprofen. We have to go into their medical record and confirm if they are allowed to have ibuprofen or Advil or something like that. Once that's confirmed, the students need to get that medicine from the front desk in WADS. That's where we distribute the medicine. Then they need to fill out this injury report, or you do, or whoever gives them the medicine does. Say a student is with you and they roll their ankle and they're not feeling that great. Let us know. We will bring a first aid kit to you or help you out with that. But again, we need this report filled out and it needs to be detailed. So don't put Jimmy fell. It needs to be Jimmy fell and he rolled his ankle. Which ankle? His right ankle. Well, is it swollen? Is it bruised? Did you give him ice? Did you call the front desk? All those types of questions, they really need to be as detailed as possible. This injury report can be given to the front desk in WADS, or it can go back to the logistical coordinator in on the 4th floor in WADS. Either way is fine. And again, I want to reiterate, you should never give the medicine. It needs to go through the front desk. If you are out in the field and a student wants medicine, you need to call us and let us know and then give them medicine that's available in the first aid kit. And again, fill out this form and talk to somebody from our office if you are not on campus. All right. So let's say that there is an incident, which is different than an injury. So an incident is say a couple of students were disagreeing on something and you think it needs to be brought to the attention of us. Or there's a behavior concern, like John wasn't listening and he got mad at you or something like that. These are things that we need to be aware of so that way we can also talk to the student and see what's really going on. So if there's an incident and you can handle it, go ahead and fill out this report and then bring it to our office. If it's a more severe incident, call the front desk or call the logistics office and we'll get somebody down there to help you right away. It's really important to bring anything to our attention so that way we are aware of it, we know what's going on. Don't ever feel like it's, you know, like you just have to deal with it. It's not that way. Let us know. All right, so at SYP, there are students that come and they have allergies, and some may have very serious allergies. So we want to make sure that you guys are familiar with an EpiPen. So grasp the tip and then remove the blue cap, place it on the orange side on the thigh and administer it. Call 911 and the SYP staff if you need to do this. Yes, and someone will be with you very soon. You will receive some health information of your participants in your weekly packet that you get on Monday morning. This could be allergies or something like that, so that way you're aware of somebody, you know, being allergic to whatever. So this information needs to be shredded at the end of the week. If you don't want to shred it yourself, bring it back to us and we'll take care of it for you. And remember, it's confidential. So at Michigan Tech, we also have something called our minors policy. In the Google Drive, there is more reading for you to do to see the full policy on this. One of the major things to remember with our minor policy is that there should never be any 1-to-1 ratio interactions with a student, like behind a closed door or in a vehicle. So if you're walking across campus and see a student, that's okay. If you are in a vehicle alone with a student, just one student, that's not okay. There needs to be like a 2-to-1 ratio. So if you need to have a conversation with a student, don't pull them completely away from everybody else. Just take them off to the side. Don't ever like take them into a closed room, just you and that student. We also require that all of our instructors have completed background checks and sign an authorized adult code of conduct that is also found in the Google Drive. These 2 documents need to be filled out so that way we can check with public safety and make sure that you guys understand the key takeaways of our minors policy. So where our SYP office is located in WADS. So in the WADS lobby is our front desk. This is where you want to turn in surveys and packets. Our residence counselors are on the 4th floor, and that is who you want to go to for behavior concerns of students. Now, if you call the front desk with a behavior concern, they're going to forward you up to our residence hall coordinators. And then for all first aid and vehicle rentals, you want to see the logistics office, also on the 4th floor in WADS. Tap access from your ID will be required to access SYP offices. So if you come to WADS, make sure you bring your ID so we can get up here. There's only a staircase and an elevator to access our offices, and vehicles again are located right behind WADS in lot 17L. So just a few tips for working with youth. If you haven't done so already, keep everything hands-on. They want to be doing something with their hands and less kind of sitting and listening. connect with real world applications and careers. So they want to know what is happening now and how that's going to help them into the future. Provide them with goals and challenges. So there's always like a little bit of good competition, or provide framework for students so they can stay advanced and improving their individual starting line. So if you maybe ask them to do something the first day and tell them they're going to work on it throughout the week, and then the last day they'll see how they've improved. And then also just be awesome, honest, and authentic. Participants are looking to make meaningful relationships, and many are figuring out who they want to be and what they want to do in life. So give them honest feedback. Don't sugarcoat things. Let them know what's going on. All right, so from here, you need to take this quiz, look at the instructor checklist, make sure you guys are doing everything, and take a look at that Google Drive that we'll share with you, so that way you are up to date on everything that needs to happen. And again, if you have any questions at all, go to syplogic@mtu.edu and let us know your questions. And remember, your itineraries are due 2 weeks before your course starts. We are so happy that you guys are coming out to teach with us this summer. We look forward to seeing you and meeting you.